If you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist in any degree, you are probably extremely familiar with what psychologists call leveling. And it's an attempt on the part of the narcissist to essentially say, you are no better than I am. You will hear this when you attempt to set a boundary with them or point out something to them that bothers you. You wish they would stop. And they'll say something that leaves you the message. They will communicate to you, who do you think you are? You're no better than I am. And if you go to church, there's a good chance you will hear this too. You're a sinner just like I am. That's called leveling. I like that word. I want to tell you something. There is a difference between someone who sins, someone who transgresses God's law, and someone who is wicked. Jesus himself hung out with, some of the rankest people you'd ever want to know. Fishermen? Have you ever known? I have known, not personally, but I have been around many years ago, crab fishermen when I was stationed in Alaska. They are rough people, trust me. Prostitutes. I'm talking about the people Jesus hung around. These were notorious sinners. But there's a difference between a sinner, of which we all are, and a wicked man. And I don't know, I'm going to try to do my best to differentiate the two right here. The book of 1 John is loaded with verses that, I'll be honest with you, they used to bother me. They were confusing to me up until very recently. Here's one of them. It says, no one who is born of God deliberately, knowingly, and habitually practices sin, because God's nature abides in him. I used to read that and say, I know God's nature abides in me. I know that. I know his spirit is in me. I know I have his life in me. But yet I still sin. There are times I even do something I shouldn't before God and man willingly. So I'm heading up against this verse right here, and there's others like it. Let me share it with you what I believe the Apostle John is saying here. I'm going to read it again, that no one who is born of God practices sin, for God's nature abides in him. Please note the word practice. Now again, I'm going to attempt to differentiate between the man who misses the mark and sins and the wicked man. May I also call the wicked man the malignant narcissist? They are synonymous. He practices sin. The word, if you look up the word practice in Webster's dictionary, here's what it says. It says to perform or work at, look at those words, to perform or work at repeatedly so as to become proficient. To practice something means you apply yourself to it. If you play a musical instrument, you know what this is about. You work at it. You apply yourself to learning that musical instrument. You are attempting to master it. This is the man who practices sin. He has committed himself to becoming proficient at hurting other people, deceiving other people, climbing over other people to get what he wants. And it's deliberate. He knows what he's doing, and he's applying himself to it. Now, that's a lot different than most of us who sin because we're dealing with a lot of issues. We're dealing with our flesh. We're dealing with past. If you're a victim of a narcissist, you're dealing with past hurts that is very definitely going to affect the way you think and behave. And some of it ain't so good. I'm not talking about the guy who may have a problem with sin, who may have an addiction. He's trying to get out of it. The wicked man is working at sin. He's applying himself. May I say this? Sin has become his mistress. His modus operandi is to commit sin, to get what he wants. I'm going to read Proverbs 6. It says this is amplified. It says a worthless person, a wicked man is he. Let me stop here. We're going to see what the definition of a narcissist is right here. A worthless, wicked man is he who goes about with a perverse, contrary, wayward mouth. He winks with his eyes. He speaks by shuffling or tapping with his feet. He makes signs to mislead and deceive. He teaches with his fingers. You ever known anyone like that? The narcs I've been exposed to, they can communicate total contempt towards an individual without even opening their mouth. The most subtle facial expressions. That's what Proverbs is talking about here. A wicked man is willful and contrary in his heart. He devises trouble. And that's the part I wanted you to see. He devises. He purposefully meditates and thinks and strategizes ways to, if he has to, destroy you. To either get what he wants or in many cases to maintain his godlike image. Again, according to Proverbs, the wicked man devises trouble. He devises trouble, vexation, and evil continually. And he lets loose discord and sows it. If you have been bothered, if you have been even condemned, thinking that, I've sinned and I have trouble with certain sins in my life. Maybe God doesn't love me. Maybe I don't have God's life in me. Maybe there is something wrong with me. Or you may be saying, maybe I'm a narcissist. Man, I acted ugly today. No. I dare say, if you're watching this, I highly, highly doubt you are the person that Proverbs and 1 John is talking about. These people, the evil, the narcissists, purposefully, habitually, continually practice or work at repeatedly or apply themselves to the workings of evil. They practice it. They're trying to get good at it. Most of the time, they enjoy it. Now, and let me tell you something. If you have a halfway clean, developed conscience, whether you're a Christian or not, you don't enjoy hurting other people. You detest it. Thank you.